You do it.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, you do it.
Okay. Hello. Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your boy. Hi, I'm Allison. I'm the girlfriend. I'm Jack's girlfriend.
Mm.
That is my tagline.
No, it's not. You're Allison, damn it.
I am Allison. Well, but
Well, to the people, maybe, yeah.
to the people, yeah.
But, like, to
to
me,
the people,
nah.
I'm just a random brunette on the side of the road. But to you and to anybody that knows you, I'm Jack's girlfriend. Just to my friends, you're Allison's boyfriend.
That's fair, but
Yeah.
I also don't run around introducing myself as Allison's boyfriend.
Oh, I've totally done that to people.
Okay, that's fine. That's
no,
whatever.
I fully introduced myself to people I know. At Thanksgiving, I met his his extended
that's...
family for the first time, and I was I'm Jack's girlfriend.
Yeah, well that's different. I do this. I did the same thing when I was with your family. When I was introducing being introduced to them, I was hi, I'm Allison's boyfriend, because that's just easier for them.
Well, yeah,
you know?
true. For them to understand the relation.
Yeah.
Versus just being I'm her friend that we hang out a lot.
Yeah.
And I love her.
But I also don't want to be that person who just this is my girlfriend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that John Mulaney skit when he was talking about getting
Can
fucked
my
up.
girlfriend come?
Yeah. I want to avoid that as much as I possibly can.
That's fair. Mm-hmm. No, I get that. I don't know. But it's those couples that are, okay, the couple, what I never want to be.
Okay.
Is one of those couples that will only talk in we. You know, oh, we don't eat Brussels sprouts. We don't listen to that kind of music.
That's kind of gross.
It's just disgusting. Just be your own person in a relationship together, you know?
Yeah.
It's to be I don't like Brussels sprouts, but maybe you do.
I honestly, I have not had a whole lot of Brussels sprouts, so I don't really know.
I
like broccoli. Do you like broccoli?
Oh, I do like broccoli.
We like broccoli.
We eat broccoli.
Oh my god.
LOL. But yeah, that's us. Yeah.
So we've had our fair share of relationships in the past. I've had 2. You've also had 2.
Two real relationship, not
Oh right, because you dated somebody in 6th grade for 2 hours.
I was such no. I had relationships in middle school, but it was holding hands, and then it's I'm gonna break up. Oh my god, I like this other person. Yeah, it was. I did, however, in middle school. It was Valentine's Day, and I was dating this guy at the time.
Oh shit! You were dating him, yeah.
I was. We were together, and he gave me a necklace. It was a heart one. It's from Target. Mm-hmm. And I was so freaked out because I was what does this mean?
Oh my god!
I was oh my god, what is love? And. And I ran away and hid in the bathroom for an hour.
Oh no!
And I cried.
Oh.
And I missed first period.
Oh.
And the teacher was "Where's Allison?" And the other girl was she's crying in the bathroom. In the middle of class. And I was sitting there, and they're and they're let's get her out, let's get her out. And I was it's me. And the guy was what the fuck?
Yeah, he was just trying to do something nice, and all of a sudden he's got to deal with this shit.
It's because everyone tells you in middle school they don't mean relationships don't mean anything.
Yeah.
They really don't.
No.
But when you're 12 and
he liked you.
You feel everything so intensely at that age.
Yeah.
So everything feels like the most important thing in the world, which it's not a bad thing. You get some really passionate 12-year-olds out there. They're going to change the world. You just wait. But yeah, it's one of those things where I look back on it and I was who did I think I was? When I was in 6th grade.
I mean, you also had a spot where you went to go and kiss boys.
No.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Yes, you did. You told me about that.
Okay, it wasn't okay, first off, high school. It
was high school where you would go take these boys to the bench and kiss them.
You make it sound like a creepy, I took them and No, it's okay. It just happened to be. It was my favorite spot in my hometown. It was this little gazebo in this park, and it's really, really pretty. And it's also right across the street from the church that I go to, so that I could also hook up to the Wi-Fi. Because I didn't get my first phone for a hot second. So, but I would go there and then just happen to kiss boys. It was 3 times. It only happened 3 times. So
only 3 times.
Counting you. So I don't think that that's a spot where I would go and kiss boys.
You introduced it to me as the spot where you go and kiss boys. So
okay, it was just a joke because it just happened.
Well, it's a funny joke.
Okay, well, I don't. Yeah, I'm not that type of person.
It's so easy to put you on the spot because it's you just freak out. You just start squirming.
I It's yeah. So your relationships, Jack.
What about him?
Talk about him.
I mean, there was one of them that I got into at the end of high school. Looking back at it, it didn't make the most sense, but it happened. We like kind of kept going through college for a little bit. Like we ended up making through my first year of college, which was interesting. Honestly, looking back at it, we both probably should have like ended that shit way earlier. But I mean, obviously it kept going.
Well, you know the whole thing where it's like, it's kind of like the same thing when the dog is like almost dying, where it's like, so.
Oh my god. Fuck.
This sounds like a terrible analogy. It's
Yeah,
so
it already
morbid.
is. I don't like it.
But it's like a vet so I had a dog when I was younger, and the vet told my parents that it's like by the time that you realize that the dog is like hurting and should probably be put down
Right,
for,
it
like,
should have.
for their own thing, that it should have been put down months ago. So it's kind of like the same thing with like a relationship where it's like the time that you realize that it should probably end and it's not in a healthy place, it should have ended way before that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's funny because like people say that and people relatively agree with that because hindsight's 2020.
Oh yeah.
But like, it's not like you really even knew about that until the moment where you're just like, all right, like this, we're done now.
Mm-hmm.
There was one of the relationships that I was in where it actually did kind of end like that, where it ended at a good time. I mean, it probably could end like a month earlier, but it was also only 4 months. So like, we got in that relationship and out of it pretty damn quick.
Yeah.
Which is honestly a good thing because like we weren't really like fit well for each other. She was very much focused on like what she wanted to do with like her career and stuff, and we both knew that it wasn't gonna last past school. So I don't know. It just it was a weird thing to even get into in the first place, which I don't know. But it happened. Like people make some dumb decisions when it comes to relationships because it's like, well, for me that was actually right after I had broken up with the girl, so it was literally like a week later.
It was a rebound.
Yeah,
you rebounded with her. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a week later, and then it was just kind of like I don't know why she wanted to get in the relationship. To be completely honest, I really don't know. Maybe I'm just cool.
You're just that sick.
Nah.
He's a ladies' man.
No, let's take it easy.
Not at all.
Not at all.
No,
come on, man.
You got me. I don't know.
Exactly. But yeah, I don't really know what we were doing there. It was kind of weird. I think it might have just been physical, and then we just kind of like moved on from there. But I mean, who knows? But at the time it was like okay, like we were friends beforehand, and we were like friends with like the other people in the group. Were kind of like all interacting. She was literally like the room below me in our dorm, so like that just made it easy too.
Yeah.
Like I would see her a lot. But you mentioned something earlier about like having like an obligation to see somebody. And I felt like I almost kind of had that with her because it was like she was right there, and I was dating her.
What you're referencing is a conversation we had before this ever was filmed.
Yeah,
where it was
way before.
Yeah, because I said so we don't go to the same school, and I'm happy about that. Which sounds like I'm a terrible girlfriend, but here's why: I like having space, and I feel like if we both went to the same university, that I would feel, and we're both business majors. So we would see each other on the business school. We would probably have mutual friends. And I think that we would both feel obligated to just like see each other because we're there.
Yeah.
And so then it would hit a point where it's like seeing each other wouldn't be like an exciting, like, oh, I get to go spend time with him kind of thing. It would turn into a like, oh, I have to go and see him just because like we're in the same room together.
Especially if you're busy all the time because you're a very busy person.
And okay, you're pretty busy too.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not just going to go out and say, oh, I'm busy.
We're both very busy and involved people in our schools and universities and like either what organizations that we're in or like you're on the baseball team, which is like a whole thing, which is a lot of commitment. And I'm in a sorority. So it's kind of like we're
both in frats.
I'm in a business frat as well. So
oh yeah, that too.
We're both basically in.
Yeah, you do a lot of things.
I do many things. I also have a job. I just never say no to. That's actually my 2021 goal is to say no more. So, TBD on if that'll actually happen.
I mean, just set your mind to it and you'll actually do it.
That's what I'm trying to do. We're doing good. So, I mean, obviously I'm on break right now, so I don't have a lot of things to say yes to. But
right.
Yeah. So, where were we?
We were talking about well, we kind of like touched on like Greek life for a hot second, but I think we'll like hold off on that for right now. We were going on relationships. We were talking about mine specifically.
Yes. Oh yeah, the obligation.
Yeah, the obligation thing. Yeah. So like we kind of like, when you have that and you're like right with them all the time. You kind of feel like you have to see them, even though like you could both be very busy and just like don't have time to do it, especially because you need to set time like for this person. And it's different when like if she was my roommate, that would make it a little bit different. I know,
Oh
but if
God.
she was like if that kind of sense, like if you live with the person, like when I think when it comes to like marriage or whatever, like when you get there, like it kind of makes sense because like you go home and you're just chilling, and then that person's there with you chilling. You know, it's not so much like you have to take time to go see this person; they're just there where you live. You know, it's a little bit different.
Plus, I feel like as you get older in a relationship and like more comfortable in that, like when you hit that stage of like living together, hopefully you do it after you've had an established relationship and it's not like 3 days later. Um, but
Hey, you know, I know one kid who did that, and it's working out pretty well for him. I gotta say.
I feel like you have to be a very special like kind of person to be able to
Yeah,
do that. Like
you
you have to
do.
have a very strong relationship.
You have to be very mature already
Oh
before
yeah.
the relationship, and then
Oh yeah.
you can probably go into it.
Yeah, but it's like once you hit that stage, I feel like you don't feel again kind of with the obligation thing. You don't feel obligated to like make it a thing. You know,
Hmm.
like you can just sit and do nothing together. Like there's a certain point in a relationship that you hit where you are okay with just not doing things. You know,
Right.
it's okay. It
I
sounds weird.
mean, it sounds a little freaky because I still like going. I still like doing things
Well,
with you.
yeah,
You know.
like it's not like saying that you never do things together,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
like when so in the early stages of relationship, you always feel like you have to do something to keep it interesting. You know,
Yeah, I guess.
like you're like okay, we like go on like a lot of, like first dates and do a bunch of
Well, that's
things
also because you
together.
don't know the person too.
Well, yeah, exactly. So then you hit that point when you get more comfortable with each other and you can just sit at have a point where you're just like, we just like sit down and do nothing. Like I just don't have the energy for that,
Hmm.
and you have the ability to like do that and still be like, okay, this is still like fun,
Yeah.
I guess. You know,
You know.
yeah. So it's at that point that I think you have to have that maturity for that relationship, and that at that point when you're like living together or married or in that more of a serious kind of end game sort of area, that you can be either in like the same area or the same space as each other, and not feel like you have to just like be together all the time and doing something.
Yeah. That's kind of like I don't want to say that's toxic, but I feel like it is. You know, like
Which part?
the the idea that you have to be together, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because if like you go into a relationship like thinking that like you got to spend time together, like oh it's been a week, I need to see this person at least 2 times every week. That's kind of
Yeah.
fucked, you know, like that's gonna cause problems, I think, especially if you're like trying to force it, because like you can't really force that. You definitely can't force a relationship.
I think that's also the kind of thing with like talking to each other throughout the day,
Hmm.
because like I know people that have been like we talk every single second of every single day, and like we always know everything that's going on with each other and where they are at every single moment. And like I'm sitting there and I'm like, shit, like we talk every day, but not
Yeah.
like it'll go like 3 hours and we'll be like, hey, how's your day going? You
Yeah.
know, like we aren't like sitting there waiting to hear back from each other.
Hmm.
It's more so like we talk to each other because we want to and we genuinely want to know how the other person's doing, versus like sitting there and talking just for the sake of saying that like we just talk all the time.
Hmm.
You know, there's a difference between having real conversation and having just conversation to fill the fluff.
Yeah, exactly, I kind of get that.
Yeah.
I mean, like when we even like talk or when we text or so, whatever, like some of it is kind of fluff. Like it's
Oh
just
yeah.
kind of like just bullshit back and forth.
I do that with my parents. Who doesn't do
Yeah,
that?
that's true. That's true. But like, you know, I really do enjoy the whole idea of like not having to keep you updated about every single thing I'm doing. That was like, one of the relationships that I was in where like I felt like I had to, or else she was gonna get pissed. So like that's something I really like am very thankful for. Just because I don't want to have to do that. Like having to constantly update somebody, or like, you know, like if I'm going out to a bar or something, like I'm gonna text you and I'm gonna keep you updated about what I'm doing, so you know I don't die of like alcohol poisoning or some shit.
Thank you.
But like, but like I'm definitely like I'm not worried about not checking my phone for an hour and then having like 15 messages from you.
No, yeah. Most of the time, like if you at the same time, like from the other end of it, I don't want to be that kind of person that's like,
Yeah, me neither.
what are you doing? Who are you with? What like how much are you drinking? Blah, 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 blah. What time are you gonna be home? Because that's just annoying.
I mean
And
that's
then
a,
that puts
that's
pressure
a
on you.
parent. That's a
Oh yeah,
fucking parent.
that's a parent, and I'm not I'm not your mom. And I think that just adds so much pressure on like you if I were to do that, because then like you feel, because I've had that. So talking about past relationships, was in a very long distance relationship for that first like year of college, and because like he went to school, I go to school in Iowa, he went to school in Virginia, so we're like 14 hours apart. And so most of our relationship was that like texting, updating each other all the time. And I was saying something like, "Oh, I'm going to go out." It was always like, "Oh, well, who are you going with? Well, what time are you going to be home? Are you going to go drinking?" And like at that point in like where I was mentally immature, because I wasn't very mature at that point of understanding relationships and all that kind of stuff. And then being asked those questions and feeling kind of like that pressure of like, oh, maybe this is something I shouldn't be doing. Like it added this
Yeah.
unwanted feeling of like, oh, I should just go home. And so I purposely, but like not because I wanted to, like cut certain experiences of mine short because I felt like I was disappointing the other person by like not talking to them all the time.
Yeah, and it's crazy because sometimes like that turns into a lot of into manipulation
Oh yeah.
in the sense of like, you feel bad for just doing things, like for existing. You almost feel bad, and it's just like that doesn't make any sense. Like that's not worth anyone's time. Like that's a relationship that you just need to get the hell out of.
Oh yeah.
If that shit happens to you on a routine basis, like I mean, it's not worth it.
Well yeah. Yeah, that's the hard thing about a relationship starting as a long distance relationship because we met each other right before graduation, senior year of high school.
Yeah.
So like we had about 3 months, which like is nothing, of seeing each other, and then for like an entire semester we were gone and 14 hours apart.
Yeah.
So our entire relationship for the majority of the time all we knew was being apart from each other and having that kind of like what are you doing aspect of it. And he was in ROTC, so like he would have moments where he'd be like, oh, I can't be on my phone because of like drills and stuff. But because I didn't do much, or well, not that I didn't do much, but because like I didn't have that kind of restriction on me, it felt like I needed to always be available because I didn't have like I had the ability to be available, you
Yeah.
know? It's kind of the same aspect that I have as in Greek life because I was president in my sorority and
Ooh.
ooh, oh, important. No, it's not. Well, it's a really cool position to have, but it's also a lot to put on people. And because of technology and the way that phones and all that kind of stuff works today, I felt like I always had to be available for people. And bringing that into like a relationship sense, we would be together sometimes and having that need of feeling like I always had to be available to people for at like all times of the day. We'd be hanging out watching a movie or something and I'd get a text and I would immediately run to my phone to make sure that things were okay. And I feel like as a relationship that doesn't help
No,
things.
I agree. It's just that constant pressure is something that is a lot different. Like the way that me and one of my girlfriends broke up was I was just hanging out with people, like just random people, like not random people. They were my friends, um, and we were just chilling. And then she started doing that to me, and I was like, I'm done. Like I was just like, you know what, this is it. Like it was the start of sophomore year. I was like, this nah, like no more. I'm tired of this shit because it happened like during that summer too. It happened during the winter the year before, and I was like, this is not worth my time, like. And the thing was too is like I wanted to get out of that relationship and I wasn't admitting it to myself, which was the toughest part because I was doing things that like only made sense to do if I wanted out. Like looking back on it now, it's pretty obvious that I wanted to get the hell out of there.
Oh, yeah.
But like I also like didn't want to admit it to myself at least. Like it took me 2 hours to really get the breakup done. I was sitting in my car for like 2 hours, like just talking to her on the phone. And like I don't know why it was 2 hours. Could have been done in like 15 minutes or even like 5. Just like this is it. But like it was my first one. It was her first one, so it was kind of like it was
First
kind of
like
meaningful.
real relationship or first like real breakup?
Both.
Ooh.
Both. So, well, I mean that one if it was one of them, it would have to be the other, right? For sure, breakup,
Well,
first
because like
relationship.
I've had like breakups, but they weren't like real.
Okay, so yeah, so it wasn't,
I
but that
guess,
wasn't
yeah,
a
you
real
have to have a
relationship
real
either.
yeah, you have to have a real relationship to have a real breakup, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
okay.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine was the one in college. I broke up with him kind of at the beginning of sophomore year. It was like beginning of September, and I was at my friend Brittany's dorm, and I had wanted to break up with him for a hot second, but it's that fear of change and that fear of not wanting to hurt somebody because
Yeah, that's the biggest one. Not wanting to hurt someone.
yeah, because like here's the thing: no matter how much the relationship didn't work, he was still a big part of my life, and I still cared about him. And even though we just didn't work well together, and the situation that we were in also didn't help because we were 14 hours apart. So like having that kind of setup of a relationship from the get go, it's just not ideal, and it's
No.
wrong place, wrong time. So when I was sitting in the trash room on the phone, calling him, doing this breakup, and it sucked because you can tell whether it's in person or on the phone, and I would have preferred to do it in person, but because it was long distance, I had no other option.
Yeah, same here.
So you can like tell when like the person's hurting, and it sucks on both ends. Obviously it sucks to be the person that's broken up with because you think that you're in this relationship that's gonna last and all this stuff, and then you find out it's not working for the other person, and that sucks ass. But also being the person that's doing the breaking up, I feel like people don't talk about this a lot. It's because the last thing that you ever want to do to this person that you care a lot about is to hurt them. And you know that this is like one of the ultimate things that's really going to hurt them.
Yeah.
But you also have to recognize that for yourself to be okay, you just have to get out of the relationship.
Yeah.
But the breakup didn't last long. It lasted like 15 minutes was the call. And I think that was a good thing because then we were both able to just like separate ourselves and deal with it on our own. Because at that point, if I was calling him being like this can't, like it's just not working anymore, like this, we both just need to figure ourselves out before anything happens again. We then just like hung up, and it's terrible that I'm laughing. I threw my phone in Brittany's room, and then I went and bought shoes. And I called them my breakup shoes. Because for me, I was like, I need something new, but I was not about to cut my hair or like dye it. And I was not about to like
Make it pink.
No, my mom would kill me. The thing, I'm a brunette, so like dyeing your hair.
Really? No way.
Whoa. Dyeing your hair any color as a brunette is hard as fuck because you first have to bleach it down, which just kills your hair to begin with, and then put the color in, which kills your hair even more. So like, no wonder people that are blonde like always dye their hair because it's so easy. They skip that first step of completely bleaching the hell out of their hair. Whereas like as a brunette, it just never looks good. And if you want it to look good, you have to pay like $600 for it. But anyway, I got chocolate. I bought shoes, and we were walking back, and we passed this bar with one of the bouncers was a guy that I knew, was a friend of mine, and we were talking, and I was in white leggings. Don't wear white leggings. It's just not flattering. I guess on me, it just did not look great. But we walked away, and she was like, "Oh my god, he was like totally flirting with you," and I was like.
Nah.
I was like, I just broke up with my boyfriend, Brittany. Like, this is not.
Yeah, who would ever want to rebound?
Well, okay. Later on that, because what happened is then she's like, and I was like, what? And then like started turning, and I was like, and I kind of got semi-excited about the idea of like, holy shit, like I can do that now. And I think that was the first time, like, and of course it's like right after I break up with this guy, where I was like, I really needed a second to like actually understand what it's like to be a single person in college. Because because I walked in to college in a relationship, right? So I missed out on that whole like first year experience of like, flirting with guys in basements. And
oh my god.
That sounds creepy, but we're not in college.
I went to the basements and they didn't seem too great.
Okay, you're a boy, that's why.
Yeah, well, it was just scummy, shitty, and there were just like a bunch of girls that were like dressed up in like some like gross clothing. They all just looked like, dude, it was just a bad vibe. I didn't like it. No wonder I'm not in a frat.
You can always tell when a girl's going out because she's in like black jeans. A lot of the times they're ripped, but sometimes they're not. Sometimes. And then they're in like a crop shirt with either it's a tube top or either there's like just little straps. And then that's how you know they're going out. But then their hair's down, and then they have the little wristlet that has their key to get back into their dorm and their ID and some money. That's how you know girls. So I'm assuming that's what all the girls look like in the basement.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the person I was dating at the time.
We've been there. We all been there. I hit that point at one time in my life. It wasn't great. But you all just need to experience that. But yeah, and then so here's the tea. Some people might consider you a rebound for me.
Yeah, that's fair. It
It's
was
totally fair.
3 months
About
after.
3 months, yeah.
Yeah.
So because I broke up with him in the beginning of September, and then I went through. So then I was like, maybe I'll just try dating the normal way, right? The normal way in my head is like what I've seen in movies where it's like you go to a bar. Well, I couldn't go to a bar because I go to school in Iowa, and after 10 o'clock, the bar's shut down for anybody that's not 21. And so at that point, I was still a rule follower, and I was like, well, I'm 21 now, so I can get in. But
Nice.
yeah, I'm 21. Just got my horizontal ID, nailing it. But at that point, I was like, no, I'm not going to go to the bars. I never had a fake ID. And so I was like, well, how am I going to meet somebody now? So then I went to the age-old Gen Z way of finding a person.
Hey.
Hey, and I got Tinder. Ooh,
Hey.
I swore I was never going to get Tinder. I fully was like, this is never going to happen. I'm never going to online date. Everybody that's on Tinder is just scummy people and guys that want to have sex with you.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. No.
We met on Tinder.
We met on Tinder if you didn't catch on where the story was going. But I got Tinder, and I deleted it twice before I met you.
Mm-hmm.
I deleted it within the span of 2 weeks. I hated it because I would meet people, and I being like myself, being like, oh, like try and have a genuine conversation. Because even though at that time I wasn't looking for like a relationship because I just got out of one, I still like wanted to genuinely talk to people and get to know people because I'm a real human and I just don't, I care about more than just sex. But like I would have conversations where I would like swipe right on people, and then like in the first like 5 things we'd say to each other, they'd be like, you want to come over? And
Ew.
I'm like, it's like midnight. I know what this means. No. And then you have like, I have rules. I have my rules on Tinder. I had my, if they asked me to see them like that night, I was like, this is uncomfortable. I'm like, no, I'm out.
Yeah.
Or if they have a group picture as their first picture, you just immediately swipe left because it's never the person that you think it is. Like you're like, oh, I hope it's that one. And then you start like scrolling and then it's never them. Or I had one guy where all of his pictures were group pictures.
Oh, well, then you have no idea who it is.
Exactly. I'm like, you want me to search through these to figure out who the commonality is? No, that's not worth my time. I had one guy, though. I swiped right on him. I appreciated it. He had a group photo as his first one, but then he took like Microsoft Paint or whatever and like put an arrow and then said,
Oh,
delete.
yeah.
And I was like, thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, so I deleted it twice, and then I downloaded it again, and I met this young man.
Hi.
Ooh.
What's up?
And I swiped right, purely because I thought his bio was funny.
The bio that I did not come up with myself, by the way.
No, you didn't, which I found out later, and I was like, what the hell?
Yeah,
I
well.
was like, damn it, you lied.
I tricked you.
See?
Gotcha.
Don't date people on Tinder, because they'll trick you and lie to you. But yeah, and then I stalked you on Instagram, and I was like, this is pretty cute. Because here's the thing, ladies. The boys, their tagged photos are always better than their actual photos.
Is that true?
Oh, it's so true. I
Really?
always look at people's tagged photos first.
Huh.
Because the photo that I would show my friends once we like went on a date together is one that you never posted. It was like a tagged one of you in front of a pool with a girl in a yellow dress.
Oh, yeah.
Because you looked really cute in it, and you were in like little suspenders, and it was adorable. And I was like, this is actually a good picture of him. Why did he never post it? Because the other ones that you posted is like baseball pictures of you, which are fine. Like, they're nice. But like, then you're
Just
like,
tearing apart my Instagram right now. It's fine. Keep going.
It's because you're just all sweaty, and it was just like, and you had like your hair was long at that point. It was like a little.
Oh, no, it was nasty.
Yeah,
it was nasty.
thank you.
It was like this, but like the crap like right here was even like I didn't cut it. So
it was
just
not
fucking
good.
Gross. Yeah.
And that was some of your Tinder photos. Like, honestly,
That's true.
Yeah. So like, I did it purely because I thought you were funny, and then your pickup line.
I forgot what that was. What was it?
Your pickup line was, "Can you teach me how to break dance?"
Oh yeah. Because you had that one like picture of you just like with your hand down and your leg up, just.
Oh.
That's why I said it.
Well, because every picture on Tinder, I feel like has to serve a purpose. So like,
it has to serve.
It has to serve. It has to show you some snippet of my personality.
You
So
put way more thought into this than I did.
Oh, I totally did. I had
Yeah.
my friends help me pick up my photos, and I was like, because here's the other thing. I was like, if people are that I know, like that I've already know before this, are gonna see this profile, like, because I know people that I know are gonna see it.
Right.
I'm like, it's gonna be a good ass profile. Like they're gonna be like, and
Uh-huh.
plus, people from my high school went to my college, and I was like, so if this guy, who I saw on Tinder, by the way, people that I went
This
to,
bitch.
people that I graduated from high school with, I saw them on Tinder, and I was like, great, this means that they're seeing me, and I was like, I want them to look at this and be like,
Nice.
damn it, you know, because I got hot in college. I'd like to think of myself as that.
You did.
Thank you. Because you knew me in high school.
I've seen pictures of you. I've seen pictures of you in grade school, and damn.
Not good.
Same can be said about me.
Okay, if you look hot in grade school, like, fuck you. It's like the same thing with, like, kids that are 13 now. Like, when I was 13, I was wearing, like, Hot Topic, All Time Low, like, hella emo.
Yeah, you were very emo.
I was so emo, it hurt. But, like, now you look at it, and because of YouTube and influencers, like, these kids actually look good. Like, they'll be like, I'm 13. And I'm like, why do you look 40? Like, it just
What?
makes me
40?
upset.
That was not the right.
Not necessarily 40, but, like, they look like 23.
You look an old man.
They-
you look. You have 2 kids. You've been married for 5 or not
you
5 years.
You, like, look like you have a pension. Exactly.
Damn, you got that 401k. Shit.
Car insurance and everything. But, yeah, so, like, so I put a lot of thought in my Tinder profile. Try to get back on course here. I put a lot of thought in my Tinder profile. Like, but the photo that you're talking about, I was in, like, this downtown area, and I was in the middle of falling. And
Was that what it was?
Yeah, I was
Oh.
falling, and then I was, like, kicking my leg up because I was like, I'm fun. And, yeah, so that's the picture. And so he said, can you teach me how to break dance? And I was like, LOL, I don't know if I'd be a very good teacher. And he goes, do you remember this conversation?
It was you said
I said, I don't think I'd be a very good teacher.
I don't think you said that because I wouldn't have said teacher afterwards.
No, because then you said, I don't think I'd be a very good student.
Oh, right.
And I said, why? And you said, because I think I'd have a crush on the teacher.
Yeah, some just corny shit like that.
So corny. Like, it was like Hall of Fame terrible Tinder pickups.
I mean, shit, it worked.
But it worked. Like, and then, and he was the first Tinder date I actually went on. Mm-hmm. Mainly because you were one of the first people to actually ask me on a real date and not to just, like, come over.
Well, it's because I mean, okay, so I go to Cornell College. Mm-hmm. So for me, my Tinder experience was a lot different than yours because you said you had how many matches within like a week or some shit?
So by the time Jack and I went on our first date, I was on Tinder for 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks.
I don't know.
I had 200 matches in 2 or 3
Yeah.
weeks.
Okay, so I would get one match I think it was like 3 matches every week if I was lucky, and I think that's even like over what I was getting. So for me, it was like do or die every single time. Every week was just like, all right, here we go. So I was always having to put my best my best effort forward. So I saw that, like we matched on there, and for me, it's like I can't say come over because
It's a half-hour drive.
I mean the first time you came to Mount Vernon, you thought I was trying to kill you.
Yeah, well, okay, it was also like, like the whole joke of like online dating where it's like, this person's going to murder me. So we're driving to...
It's dark. It's dark as hell.
hell.
And it's Iowa, too. It's a rural Iowa, so it is like dark as shit.
It's dark and it's farm fields. And then there was this point when you pass this like abandoned, broken down barn.
Oh, yeah.
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 And I looked at him and I was like, is this where you kill me? And you were like, yeah. And then you're like, no, stop asking me that. And then you hit a point where you're like, please stop making that joke.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because I was just like, dude, like, shut up. just come on. I haven't done it yet. Yet. Anyway, but with me, it was different because it was like, from the guy's perspective of Tinder too, in small town, it's different. It's just it's very different because
your school has 1,000 people.
Yeah.
And I have 33,000 people.
Dating at that school is hell on earth because there are about, I don't know, let's say that like 5% of the population at that school is attractive. Let's just say that first of all.
Wow, you're really calling them out here.
Tough luck, guys. The people understand. It's Cornell.
So you're saying there's probably like 30 people there?
Yeah, something like that.
Well,
at least
10% would be 1,000 people. So you're saying
my
there's about
grade.
500.
All of the people that were like attractive at the beginning of the school year essentially like left. Like for whatever reason, my grade just got like decimated. Just people just leaving. So we lost like a good amount of the population as it was. And then so like Tinder wasn't really an option Because if you go on Tinder, you're gonna find somebody you like, and not to mention if you even like so much as like kiss someone, everyone knows about it the day after. Because there's only 1,000 kids. It spreads like wildfire. It's ridiculous. So it's really hard to like date or do something serious in that, especially when you want to like get a fresh start after you're done. Because there's only one bar. You go to that bar, you're gonna see the person that you had an awkward interaction with. I've seen that countless times with just people in general. You talk about like, I mean, for certain people, like you're on the dance floor at the bar, right? And yeah, and then sometimes there's gonna be people grinding there. So it's like
as it happens at
yeah.
bars.
So like you go up to somebody like taking the risk, but this risk is way bigger than like at a state school because it doesn't happen at a state school. You're like, whatever, it's okay, you go away. But like that happens at like at the school I'm at. It's like you can't ever show your face to this person again.
Bless you.
Thanks. It's different because it's like it's got that stigma attached to it, and then especially with the type of people who go to my school, in the sense of like the majority of the people who end up at the bar are athletes, because it's either like either you're an athlete. There's not a lot of just normal students at my school. So like if you're at scores, like you're gonna probably have some type of connection to a football team or a sorority or fraternity. So
True.
it's like the majority of people in sororities and fraternities are sports or in sports. So it's like that's also tough too. And again, just the interconnectivity of it all, it's just like it makes things very difficult for you, especially when like you've been there for a month and you've already seen all your options.
Fair. I feel like I can relate in that sense in the Greek community.
Yeah.
Because like the Greek community at Iowa is small. Like, so you have schools like Alabama or Indiana where it's like if you want to have a social life, you have to join the Greek system.
Yeah.
Versus like at Iowa, like it's a great opportunity, but at the same time, like if you want to have a social life, you don't necessarily have to join it. So if you date somebody in the Greek community, a lot of the times, like, which chapter they're affiliated with, and you probably go to functions with them, you go to formals with them, you do philanthropy stuff, you're wearing their letters all the time. So you kind of know those people, your friends know those people. It's not a extensive community, but it's not small either. But if you break up, and for whatever reason you break up, pretty much probably everybody in your chapter knows that you guys, who that person is. And
right.
At that point, then, a lot of the times also, no matter what school you go to, people will meet one or two people from a chapter and then immediately think they know every single thing about that chapter and, like, what they're like. So, like, if someone met me, they'd probably think that everybody in my chapter is, like, a goody two-shoes, is involved in everything kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
Where every single member of my chapter is completely different and we're all involved in different things. It's just we share similar values for different aspects, such as, or is why we joined the chapter in the first place. So you hit a point where it's like, if someone dates somebody, like, probably most people in the chapter won't ever date that person.
Right. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, that doesn't happen at Cornell. That doesn't happen when there's only 1,000 kids there. Because, like, that song "Break Up in a Small Town," that's exactly what we're dealing with here. So it's like you can have people on the same team dating like one person going date someone on like the baseball team, then date somebody else on the baseball team, for instance. Like that can happen.
Doesn't that get awkward though?
Yeah.
Like, cause like
yeah.
In my head, how I see that is like one guy and this girl date for like a while,
mm-hmm.
and then she starts and goes up and dates like another guy on the team, and then like if you like you could like have two guys be like, I fucked her, like I fucked her too. Or,
I don't want to like go too much into this because
fair.
people might think I'm talking about them, which I'm not.
Okay, fair.
But like,
fair.
I mean, I don't know, that could happen. That's theoretical. And
theoretically, yeah, that could potentially happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Weird.
Or just like with other sports too, it's like some like basketball teams, like the basketball team dates the basketball team, kind of a thing. Like it's
the men and women.
Yeah, like it's kind of weird like that, where it's just like
yeah,
because you have the connections there, like the soccer team, kind of a thing too.
We have mutual interest there
mm-hmm.
at that point.
Yeah, there's a lot of that goes on, which is kind of crazy. Because it's just like there's so much drama. Like there is a lot of drama at my school just because everybody knows each other.
Well,
so,
yeah, it's the same thing as, again, small town.
Small town. Like, I mean, that's the one downside I'd say to really the having school in a small town is that like the social aspects are still there. We still have fun. We still go to bars, all that stuff, but we really can't do dating as much. So it's like I think another reason why I stuck with that first girlfriend for so long was in the beginning of college. I realized I'm like, yeah, my options are zero, you know. So it just made sense to stick with it. So like that was kind of the problem or the issue. But it wasn't really a problem. I don't know, but it definitely played into why we dated for so long.
So then, why doesn't everybody just do what you did, of like expanding your radius on Tinder? Because like you told
People
me,
do.
because you told me that like you purposely made your radius larger so that you could get Iowa City in there.
That's true. I did do that.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much like what a lot of people do. Like we do that. But it's the tough thing about that is, like I said, we're only getting 3 matches a week, and I think that's generous. I think it's more like 1. Like so
I was the one.
so you know, you get to that point where like you go on a couple dates, but it's like you're also playing with Tinder here. You know? Like Tinder's hard to find a person you actually want to like get to know. I was relatively successful with like dates off of Tinder just because I knew I didn't have any opportunities. So I was just like really trying to like be able to talk to this person and actually get a date out of it. Like that was my goal every single time. It was I'm going to talk to this person, I'm going to get to know him, and I'm going to go on a date with him.
What was your success rate?
I don't know what my success rate was, but I went on like
How many dates did you go on before we went on our date?
before us, I can think of 3 that I went on. None of them really ended well, but like, but like there were at least a couple. One of them wasn't so much a date. Actually, no, it was kind of a date. So
How is something kind of a date?
let's just not talk about it. Yeah, like there was like 4, I'd say, of the people, but like again, that's not a good ratio. And not to mention, I had to deal with people who were like, "Oh yeah, like we'll go on a date," and or like I'll go on a date with you
And
or
then
some
like
shit.
back out.
And well, it's not even like back out. It's just like they just wouldn't communicate like at all. And I'm just like, I'm wasting my fucking time here. Like, and it's tough for me too because like this is like the only one this is like my only option at the current moment.
Yeah.
You know?
You don't want to like drive a half hour down to Iowa City and try and meet people at a bar.
No, I mean, well, because it's also like then you gotta try and go back too.
That's true.
That's
you have
a
to
huge
make
issue.
sure that you're okay.
You have to be like you're really calling your shot if you go down to Iowa City, get drunk, and then try and then
You're
try
trying
and
to
stay
find.
over.
You gotta find a place.
Yeah,
to stay.
you like have to find a place to stay. So that's kind of an issue.
But yeah. But it's funny. So he asked me out on a date. And I said,
Wait, who are we
yeah.
talking about now?
You, our date.
Me,
our first
me.
date.
Okay.
Jack himself asked me on a date, and I said yes. And he was like, "Cool, when?" And I was like, "Whoa." There's a lot. Again, from retrospective, now I'm understanding
Again,
your
dude,
move.
I didn't have a choice because if I didn't act like right now, it wasn't gonna happen, and I knew that. I mean, think like you had how many matches? You had how many matches, dude? I mean, like
I had those matches, but I maybe had only 60 conversations.
okay, sure, but like that's not the point. 60 is a lot more than 3. You know?
Fair. That's fair. True. It was also times where it's like, because I fell into that hole of like, as a girl, like I was never gonna text first.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God, I was
that
never
makes
gonna
sense.
do that.
It's easy to do that on Tinder.
What? It's easy to do.
To not text first because you
Yeah.
got all these guys. I'll tell you what. You didn't answer to any Hayes, did you?
No, I did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Sometimes,
Never
yeah.
mind then. I mean, I don't know. I like if I was in that situation, like if you're that like
If they were
uncreative.
cute, if they were cute enough.
Oh, all right. All right. I mean,
They were
yeah,
like-
that's fair. That's
or
fair.
if they like, most of the time they were like, "Hey, how are you?" Or like that kind of thing. But if they sent me a cool line, I always responded to that.
Yeah.
That one guy, he texted me and he was like, "Allison," like in all caps.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he just said Allison in all
Dude,
caps.
that was like almost my move for a while.
And I said his name in all caps,
Yeah.
as most people probably respond.
Yeah, no, it is. So
Yeah.
okay. There was a
All
video.
right.
There was a video on YouTube by like Simple Pickup. Do you know who they are?
No,
Okay, so they're just
I
like
never had to pick somebody up, so that sounds so
it's
arrogant.
it's
I'm sorry, I'm not that arrogant. I just
calm
it
down.
was
You're
never-
fine, dude. It's a people on YouTube. They would literally walk up. This is what I was like 11, 12-ish. So I was like looking at these guys and they were gods. They were walking up to women and they were like actually
This is
flirting
how
with
you
them.
get a kiss.
Yeah, and it actually it worked a lot of the time. So I was just like, whoa,
Are you sure they weren't actors?
there was too many.
Are you sure?
They'd have to be shelling out so much money for that.
Okay, but like if it.
They live in California. I
Were
feel like
they-
it's not that hard.
Okay, yeah, that's not that hard in California.
Okay. All right, cool.
Fair.
We're under the impression these guys are serious.
Sure.
They made a
not?
Tinder video, and one of the suggestions that they did was just like, you got to do something that's actually gonna like get her attention. So my thing was like, I would have typed Allison with an exclamation point and sent it.
Okay.
That was like for a long time that was my feeler to figure out if it was even worth it in the first place. But then you're stuck with the problem of not having anything else. So you essentially have to open up the conversation again,
True.
which
That
is
true.
which is
Kind of
difficult.
a bitch to deal with.
Exactly. So that's why I just stopped doing that. I was like, whatever. I'm just gonna open it with that. Open it with like an actual like
Question.
yeah, or something that was like unique to their profile. Because that's what I did. I would look at the bio, I'd look at all the pictures, I'd be like, fuck, I don't know what to tell this person. Nah, do you know how to break dance?
Off of the picture, be falling and kicking.
I totally thought you were dancing.
Okay. You thought I was.
I don't know. I didn't know
So,
you.
Where I was at
I
that
still would have
point.
thought you'd be dancing, but whatever. It's fine.
Shut up.
I learned you were falling like just now.
I I was like
Uncoordinated.
under a tunnel in that picture, so I was like inside a tunnel by a river.
That's a perfect place to break dance.
Oh yeah, it was great. I was like on an elevated surface. Bitches love elevated
Bitches
surfaces.
love elevated surfaces.
I love a good elevated surface.
Because you're short.
Cause I'm short. I'm 5'1". For anyone that's curious. But yeah, so then we went on our first date. This bitch takes me to IHOP, and
This bitch.
this bitch takes me to IHOP, and the thing is, first off, he goes, the closest IHOP is a half hour away. I, at the time, didn't know that there was a closer IHOP.
There was a closer IHOP. I didn't know either.
No.
Oh, wait, I did know.
You did
I
know.
did know, yeah.
Because he tells me later, he goes, I previously took a girl on a date there, and I didn't want the staff to think that I just come and, like, rail girls through the door to date them at IHOP. Why
Yeah.
is IHOP your go-to?
Pancakes. Everyone loves pancakes,
I
right?
didn't get pancakes.
Yeah, you got fries because
I
you're a
got french
weirdo.
fries. It was because I had like a class that went until 8 o'clock, like 8 p.m. And that was the only, because our date was the week before Thanksgiving break. It was the Wednesday before Thanksgiving break. And so you were like, when are you free? And I was like, literally, I'm the only day that I'm actually free is after my 8 o'clock class on Wednesday. And I was like, I don't know if you want to do that. And you were like, yes.
All right.
And you were like, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, this weirdo really wants
Because
to do
I
it,
fucking
okay?
knew. Because I knew it wasn't going to work.
I was like, sure. And then you asked me, you were like, we still good? And I was like, yeah. And you were like,
Yeah, I was honestly surprised.
and you were
Like,
like,
that's the thing. I was like, what? I was like, what the fuck? Really?
and you're like,
this is
shit,
actually
now I
okay.
have
Cool.
to go and drive down to Iowa City at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
And so I had a long ass day. I obviously got out of class really late, and you're texting me, and I was living in the sorority house at that time, and I get back to the house, and you texted me like 20 minutes prior, so you're like 10 minutes away, and I was like, shit, I don't have time to like shower or put makeup on or like brush my hair. Probably had time to brush my hair, but I didn't want to. And so I texted him, and I was like, listen, had a long day, just got out of class. You're going to get a baptism by fire right now of like, literally, I look like crap. And you were like, I don't care. Like, that's fine. And I basically took that approach for the entirety of the rest of the date and just kind of flung everything out on the table.
Yeah.
And I was just like, let's just see what sticks. And so I hit a point of basically like interviewing him.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy because you were just like asking me all these questions. That went on for a couple dates, by the way. Like you hit me up with just random stuff. Like
I was
give me your top 3 songs. Just like I was like
I
what?
did. I was like, what are your top 3 songs of life? I asked you. I was like, if you could have a soundtrack to your life, what would the soundtrack be?
Yeah, I was like fucking
And so
no.
then we like went by like age by age and did like soundtracks. But the big question, the big one that I asked him, it was on our first date. We're driving back to Iowa City after you made fun of me for your ordering French fries at IHOP.
Yeah, what the fuck?
And I gave you a weird look for making the syrup bottle sing. As I asked him what his biggest fear was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you asked me that one. I still don't really even know the answer to that. That one's kind of weird. I want to like it's weird. I like almost want to say death, but I really also like don't really know. You know?
Like the fear of, okay, because here's the thing. I think there's 2 fears of death. There's
Oh,
the
we're
fear of, like,
going into this. All right, cool. Let's do it.
it's like the fear of what is gonna kill you, or the fear of like what's after death.
Yeah, I don't really know because I'm not really. I don't know which one it would be. I think it's more dying is scarier, like the
Like the
process
process
of
of
it.
dying.
Yeah,
But
because
I
like
feel like it's pretty quick for the person. Wouldn't
no,
it be?
not if you get like dementia or Alzheimer's or something like that. You know.
Well, yeah, but I mean, okay, if you want to look at it from like a really large view, you could just be like, we're currently dying right now.
Well, yeah, I've
Life
said
is the
that.
process of dying.
I've said that on this podcast a
Have you
couple times.
actually?
Yeah, I have.
I probably stole that from the episode I've watched.
No, no, no. It was actually in the most recent one that we recorded.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was with
Wow,
Brad.
I'm
And, yeah,
ahead of the game.
yeah, Brad and his girlfriend.
Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
fancy.
We actually that was a good one. You guys
Yeah.
should watch it.
I'm excited to watch it.
But yeah, I get that one though. I think the whole idea of like what comes after life is not that freaky. Because if it's nothing, it's nothing.
If it's nothing, I'm not gonna know,
Yeah, like I've already done it. You know, I've already done nothing. Like before I was born, in a sense.
and I don't remember it, so it's
Yeah,
fine.
but also like a lot of people really are convinced that there's something after, and I tend to believe that there's something after just based off of the things I've heard and seen and like experiences from other people. It's like, come on, like there's gonna be a little bit, like at least
I
a little bit of
intensely
something.
hope that there is.
Yeah, but
Here's the thing. Who am I to tell somebody what's on the other side? What the fuck do I know?
well, you haven't died, so you have no fucking clue.
Exactly. So, like, I feel like trying to tell somebody, like, this is definitely what's going to happen after death, like,
It's asinine.
you can't definitively tell somebody, like, this is what's on the other side. You can hope, and you can be, like, based on this, like, this is what I think is on the other side. But, like, I feel like it's such a terrible move to, like, go up to somebody and be like, you're wrong with what's on the other
I
side.
wouldn't even want to know anyway, because if I did know, and if it was if it was somehow better, wouldn't we just like, you know, like it wouldn't even,
when we just pop
like,
up.
wouldn't we just
But
do
yeah,
it?
but, like, you wouldn't know.
Yeah, but let's say I did know. Like, and I knew it was better.
Well, but then the fear
And
wouldn't be there.
No, no, no. Listen. If I did know and I knew it was better, I'd just want it. But then, and I'd waste my life. But if I didn't know, I'd fear it. Always. Like if I knew it was going to be worse.
Which is, like, what it is. Which people fear it.
Yeah, people fear it because they think they're going to hell. I would assume. But like, hell's not even
What?
real. The Catholic Church came out and said the hell's not real. So.
Did they actually?
Yeah, they did.
Shit.
Yeah, they
I'm
were.
not Catholic, so I don't know any of this stuff.
They were lying the entire fucking time.
Whoa.
Jews
That's
knew about it for a long time though.
But does it not say it in the Bible? Is the Bible not talk? I thought the Bible talked about like a purgatory.
I think maybe, I don't know. I feel like purgatory, I feel like when you die, like it's just like if you don't. Okay, so I think a lot of it just comes from believing, well, if you close your eyes, do you think you're experiencing anything? Do you think you're actually seeing anything? Like, do you think that there's something there or not?
Well, I see like lights and shit, but like
Yeah, exactly. Like that's not nothing, right? I mean,
no,
that's
but I
something.
thought it was just like neurons in your head.
It's whatever you want it to be, man.
Cool. It could be like,
Like-
it could be like Remy and Ratatouille, where
Dude-
he's like eating the cheese.
Well, think about it. We dream. Like, I'm sorry, I completely derailed that. But like, we like dream and we can see images there. So like, it's not crazy to think that we're still like we're always seeing shit.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I just never. I don't know. I guess I never like really in
Yeah.
depthly, thought about like the process of like what happens when I close my eyes,
Right.
because my mind is always just racing so much
Mhm.
that it's just not what I think. That's not what's on my present mind of thinking about that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, for me, I like to observe it, like,
Yeah.
cause you know what's really cool if you just kind of like sit there and like close your eyes for enough and you kind of put like just a little bit of pressure on them. You
Oh, I've
see,
done that.
yeah, you see a lot more stuff.
Okay, but doesn't that make you also feel really relaxed?
Sure.
It makes me feel so relaxed when I do that. But then also, if I'm wearing makeup, then I can never do it.
Oh well.
If I want to like ruin all this, you know?
Yeah.
Just smear it all off.
Mhm.
But dying. See, I think mine is more of a fear of what is gonna kill me.
Yeah, I definitely say that too.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to like have to. My sister wants to go skydiving. Yeah, exactly.
God.
Exactly, dude. Like I feel like I could do it, but it's
Well,
like,
you said that you would. You asked me this. You asked me if I would go skydiving, and I said no.
well,
I'll stand at the bottom and cheer you on.
and
I
watch
will.
me splat.
Yeah, well, if you splat, at least I'm there. At least I see your
I don't
last
think you'd want to
moments.
see that.
Well, at least I see your last moments of life. You know?
I know you're trying to make a joke, but that's traumatizing as
No,
shit.
I know. No, I would not actually ever want to see you splat down
yeah,
from
yeah,
a
yeah,
plane.
yeah.
But like, I don't know. No, because, like, so my dad was in the Army and he was a paratrooper, so he
Oh
jumped out of
yeah.
planes all the fucking time.
So Mark just thinks I'm a pussy.
No. I don't know. I haven't told him that you wanted to skydive.
No, I don't think I do. I don't know if I do or not. I think I want to at some point, but like I'm scared shitless.
My friend Lindsay did. She went skydiving. Was it?
I remember seeing like a picture of that or something.
Yeah, she posted a video about it. There was something significant about it. Like she said, she wanted to do it before something, but I do not remember exactly what that was. But
That's a big risk.
It's.
That's a big risk. You're literally looking death in the face.
I know
Like,
it's.
You ever go on the giant drop like at Six Flags or something?
I hate that job. I hate
Yeah,
that ride
exactly.
so much.
Like okay, so I had been on it before, but like I was with my friends and my friends were too scared to go on it. Bunch of bitches.
Bunch of
But like so they didn't go on it. So I was on there alone, and then I was kind of like it was like climbing up, and I was like
shit. What did I just get myself into?
Like shit. Like I'm really high up there, and then it just like I'm like, and the only thing that's racing through my mind is like me fucking dying on this
Shit, I'm
ride.
gonna die.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Well, you ever? So I was watching Spider-Man: Homecoming last night, and there's like that end scene where the plane. Spoilers. Where the plane.
It's been out for so long.
If you haven't seen it by now, like this is fucking. So the plane like comes down when they're stealing the plane, and they hit the Ferris wheel on Coney Island, I think is where it lands.
Yeah.
Or it's not the Ferris wheel. It's like this little like the like turny swing thing.
They clip something.
Yeah, they clip it down and it like falls down. Mm-hmm. And I was watching that last night. I've seen this movie a million times, and I was watching it and I was like, what if were there people on there?
Nah.
Like if that happened to me, I would first off probably die. But if I survived that, I would never go on another amusement ride again. Like this is a terrible thing to compare it to, but when I was a senior in high school, I was cutting up a mango.
My God.
And the knife slipped, and I just like tapped this like the bone part of my thumb, and I didn't know how like hard it hit it, but it hit it to the point where it started bleeding and stuff. And it just woke it up. I hadn't eaten anything that day, and I passed out, and I hit my head on a granite countertop.
Hey.
And
not good.
The traumatizing part of it is that my mom caught me before I hit my back head on like the table and the floor, and I like woke up essentially almost immediately after that, but I was crying, and so like I was crying very intensely, and so my tears were like coming down here, and I thought it was blood. Like I had no idea that it was tears.
Holy shit.
And so I wake up and I feel like this like wetness, and I started sweating too. So like I can feel like all over my face, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, and my eyes weren't open because I thought that if I opened my eyes, I'd get blood in my eyes. And so I was sitting there, I was like, oh my God, I was like fighting my mom off, and I'm like, I'm bleeding, and she's like, no, you're just crying. And I was like, but I did not eat a mango for like a year.
I love mangoes.
I love mangoes. I eat them now. I love mangoes. But, like, after that happened, I would not eat a mango. Same kind of thing. I stabbed my hand trying to de-pit an avocado. I did not eat an avocado. I think
You're good with knives.
I'm so good with cutting fruits. But I stabbed my hand, and I ate an avocado, I think, 6 months later. But I refused to take the pit out until, like, with a knife for, like, a year. And now I have a special tool that I
Oh my
use
God.
to get it out, so that, and even then I still get nervous from it. But like, you know, where you have like those have you ever had, okay, this is like kind of like jumping off topic. Have you ever had those moments where like you picture something terrible happening and you have like a visceral reaction to it?
So, I think so, yeah. I know
like when you're ice skating, if you fall and someone just like blades over your fingers and you lose your fingers ice skating, like with an ice skating blade.
Sure, yeah.
Or if you're in a lake,
like it makes you cringe or something.
Yeah, or like if you're in a lake and like you get caught under a boat and like sliced to pieces. Like
you have a great mind.
like this is what keeps me up at night. Like I'll have like a moment where it's
that's what keeps you up at night.
Yeah,
just go to sleep.
Like terrible feelings about that kind of shit. Where I'm like, oh my God, like it gives me like a reaction to that. Or like when he tries to park a car.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, when you try and park a car, and he'll like go like so close up to these other cars, or like to me it feels like he's going super.
When
close.
I was parallel parking.
Yeah.
You're crazy.
Not like even parallel parking. Like when you like try and swing into a parking spot, it freaks me the fuck out because I think that you're gonna hit the car. Mainly because
all right.
I've hit cars.
All right.
Because I've hit things, and so now I don't trust anybody with cars. And that's why I park way out of, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I guess I get that. but like
Kind of
you
rambling
can't
a
let the
lot.
fear of something that happened in the past stop you from doing
You
something
can't
now.
let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that. That,
Ooh.
with, dude,
Cinderella story, man.
whenever I hear like baseball like analogies, like I just feel like an asshole because I play it. You know,
Kind of. I don't play any sports, so I can say it all I want.
sports.
I can be like touchdown.
That shit's so annoying. I hate that shit.
No, I
When
don't do it
like
on purpose. I
I
do it
know no
jokingly.
I know you do it jokingly, but like it's still just like it's such like a cheap joke.
Oh,
You
it's
know what
so
I
cheap.
mean?
It's so
Because
bad.
like you know what a touchdown is.
I do. I know things about sports. I know the differences. I don't know anything that has to do with like specifics. Like I can watch a game and I can pretty much vaguely understand what's happening. But if like I was playing like fake like Playmobil hockey with my little cousin the other day, and he's like asking me all these questions about hockey, and he's like, "What do these circles mean on here?" And like, "What does this mean? What does offsides look like in hockey?" And I was like, "Ask my mom."
Nah.
My mom knows so much about hockey. I know jack shit about it. I know team names, and I know what a goal looks like, mainly because the light turns on, and that's
Oh my god.
that's about it. I know when a touchdown is because they're standing in the big field with the name on it. Like, and I've recently, the only reason I basically know a fair amount about football is because college football. I actually feel invested in the team because it's like my college team.
Yeah.
Whereas like the NFL, I give zero shits about. Like,
Fair enough.
there's nothing there that them winning benefits. Whereas like
Go
you with your
Bears.
fantasy football, like you benefit off of teams winning and how players
No,
do.
I benefit off of players doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you benefit off of how like a team is doing, how a player's doing, and then of course you have the Bears, which is your team. So like, of
Yeah.
course you care about how they do. Whereas like I don't fucking care. Like it does not impact me in any way. If this team loses, I have no cares as to what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like it could disappear and I don't care. The only thing I care about with football is the Super Bowl, and it's only for the halftime show and the commercials. That's the only reason I watch.
You were
the Super
freaking
Bowl.
out about J-Lo last year.
God, J-Lo and Shakira's performance was amazing. So I had a conversation with somebody about it, like right after it happened,
Mm-hmm.
and he was talking.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about how he's like it was vulgar. It's like, the fuck you mean it was vulgar? He's like, they're like shaking their asses on national television, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, they're doing like these like cultural dance moves, and plus like J-Lo's brand is her ass. Like, a part of her brand is the fact that she has a voluptuous butt. That's not a bad thing. Why would you want to, like, demean a woman or punish a woman for having a great asset?
Oh my god.
But, like, yeah. Or, like, it was something where I was like, this is, like, J-Lo and Shakira and Beyonce and Prince. Best halftime shows ever. Prince,
Not
mainly
Michael
because-
Jackson.
No. Okay. Michael
Come
Jackson's was
on.
good. It was good.
All
But
right,
like
whatever. Whatever,
Prince's,
man.
it rained when he was singing Purple Rain. Come on. You can't write that shit. Like, it's so great. But yeah, like, J-Lo and Shakira, it was something where I was just like, he asked me this really interesting question. I kind of want to know your opinion on it.
Okay, what's up?
He was like, if that was your daughter, would you be proud of her? I was like, fucking yeah. Are you kidding me? That'd be amazing.
I wouldn't want my daughter shaking her ass on like. I mean, I understand what you're saying. It's like, yeah, the performance itself was great. I definitely wouldn't watch when she was shaking her ass, though.
Okay, as a father, that might be uncomfortable. But, like, from, like, a dance perspective, like, the
it's incredible.
athleticism of those two women,
I was watching it with you, and I was like, yeah, this is really impressive.
it was amazingly impressive. The cultural aspects that they brought into it was such a celebration of these two women and what their backgrounds are. It was wonderful. And then seeing J-Lo's daughter up there, like, singing and being beside her mom. And it was really cool because you saw this moment where they were talking about, like, she had the Puerto Rican flag up and her daughter was singing Born in the USA. And it was this beautiful cultural moment. And I feel like they said so much while just dancing and performing iconic songs.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a amazing just celebration of life, which I think is super important. Like, in anything that anybody does, any type of performance a performer has, or anything that you put into the world, I feel like it should always be a celebration of life. You know, celebrating the joys of life and the good things that come from it,
Right.
instead of focusing on things that don't bring joy and the hard things. And, you know, it's important to talk about things that are hard and things that are tough. But I think at the end of the day, to live a happy life, you have to focus on the joys of life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can definitely agree with that.
That's my soapbox.
That's a good way to end it.
Yeah. There you go.
We've been going for an hour. Good job.
Well,
Okay.
I can talk for an hour. That's great.
Yeah, you did a lot of talking on this one.
I'm a rambler. I talk a lot.
You made it easy as hell for me, so thank you for that.
Sick. Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks.